What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again, coming at you with another video for Skylanders Ring of Heroes. In today's video, I got something super special for you all. We're going to be bringing a new team building series to show you guys some of the best teams that you can build when it comes to a variety of compositions that you can do in Skylanders Ring of Heroes. And you guys know I am 2IQ. I don't have the knowledge that I should have, given the fact that I'm a YouTuber and I played this game back in the day. So what did I do? I reached out to one of the most legendary people I know in Skylanders Ring of Heroes, legendary Andy. What's good, my man?
Nothing much, man. It's been a grind. It's been so fun. Thank you so much for having me being part of this video, man. So I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you, my man. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, man, why did it take so long to make this content out there? Because for those that don't know, legendary Andy was part of the community back in the day in the original version of Skylanders, and even to this day, he's still a very, very strong player, very top tier player that a lot of people give the respect to. So really excited to have him on. He's going to be bringing a lot of knowledge for you guys. And basically what we're going to be doing is starting out with one of, I think, 3 videos that we're looking to do for you guys today. Now, the first team that we're going to be focusing on is going to be the Poison team, Andy. So if you can kind of give people a little heads up on that, maybe talk a little bit about why this one might be the first one to focus on, and then go ahead and showcase some of those units that we're looking to see.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of obviously when we jump into these gadget games, you kind of want to start with a legendary unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, the best options in terms of a free to play, even if you're not free to play, whether you're aware or not, the best legendary to kind of start with in terms of a poison team is going to be Ambush or Boom Bloom. And first of all, Ambush here, the main reason why you might want to run in Ambush is because of the passive skill. Basically, every time the Cyclops crits or the enemy crits your team or crits you, you have a chance to apply a poison, which is a free damage, right? Free damage accumulated over time that you don't have to do anything. So that's the main reason why you may want to pick an Ambush. The other one, in my opinion, the better option, the Boom Bloom, is going to give you 1, a lot of poison, and 2, is going to be able to copy the continuous damage. Whatever it's on the Cyclops or whatever it's on the enemy, you're going to be able to copy those continuous damage and reapply it, just making it do a lot more damage. I've definitely seen viewers come to my Twitch chats and showing me videos regarding their damage, and let's just say it's pretty insane. But on top of that, Boom Boom can also detonate poison and apply poison whenever she dies, and also do a heal down. So in terms of which legendary to reroll for, or if you want to use for the best team, I would definitely go with Boom Bloom. In terms of the other 3 spots, you have options like Stink Bomb. Let's see if I can find Stink Bomb here. We have Stink Bomb here that applies Diminish and Poison. Also does heal downs, which can be really good for Cyclops because everybody's goal right now should be to enter Cyclops, and he does heal himself. So being able to have that opportunity to land heal down with his passive and leader is going to be a huge benefit to your poison team or your team overall. And then the other heroic unit that you can potentially use, if you have, obviously, is going to be Roller Brawl. And the main reason, again, is going to be because his skill 1 does poison and diminish, 2 in 1. Why not? And also, the one that kind of makes draw people to Rollerball is the passive here. So it increases attack and decreasing the defense. But if you're outputting so much damage in the first place in terms of Cyclops, then you really don't need defense, right? So you just stack attack and you stack HP, and you don't worry too much about defense, crit rate, crit damage, and you're going to do a lot of damage while applying those continuous damage in order to complete that Cyclops stage. Gotcha. So those are the 2 top tier heroic units that you should ideally build if you want to have the most potential poison team here.
Okay. And with regards to the specific units that you've already said, out of the first 2 heroic units, do you favor one over the other, or would you say because Rollerball brings in that crazy amount of diminish and whatnot here, maybe that'll be the one to go if you have a Boom Bloom per se, since Boom Bloom will copy any continuous damage versus just bringing in the poison? What do you think about that?
Right. So my personal opinion, I'm more of a go in there, nuke it out, and just get it done with. Right. So based on the skill description here, guys, I do think that Rollerball is going to be the better option in terms of DPS and applying these dots, because this passive skill here, if you really build your Rollerball, it's going to nuke out a lot of damage instead of let's see here, where is this Stink Bomb here? instead of like Stink Bomb, where I feel like he's more of a applied dot and more of a sustained unit versus a Roller Brawl, which is going to be able to do so much more damage because of that passive skill. So in my favor, I will pick Roller Brawl.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. And now, of course, these heroic units that you're showcasing, obviously are something that it's going to be a little bit more free to play and obtainable. When we first started out this, your first units that you're looking at were Ambush and Boom Bloom. And of course, those are going to be Nat 5, so they might not be able to get it. If you're pay to win, of course, you could spend the $100 and I think you get a free ambush there. But, for the free to play community out there, out of those heroics that are providing those leader skills, which one would you go for and why?
I would definitely go for Boom Bloom. I've seen with my own eyes that Boom Bloom is like probably the best poison in terms of poison that team, just because of her ability to just copy the continuous damage, poison, and diminish and reapply it. It's going to help you massively. In terms of ambush, I feel like yes, ambush can do a lot of damage because of his passive skill, which basically increases your damage if your HP is over 80%. But I feel like he won't be as effective early game because we're just starting the game, right? We're not gonna have a lot of insane equipment,
Hmm.
so he's gonna be harder to build. You're basically going to use him for only his passive, which to a lot of people, if you're only using him for one thing, it might not, catch your eyes. So in the beginning and even late game, especially with the fact that we don't have a lot of like immunity cleansers or immunity buff, Boom Boom is not only going to be great for Cyclops, but also in the future for RTA, or if we ever get RTA, and then also for like Arena as of right now. So Boom Boom would definitely be my choice to go with.
Gotcha. And if and considering the fact that that Boom Boom is a Nat 5, right?
Yep.
Do you recommend, like, so if you got a free to play player that says, you know what, I don't have Boom Bloom, I don't have Ambush, can will one of the heroic units that you talked about early on, Stink Bomb or Rollerball, can one of them be that, fill in that leader role? Or do you say, hey, if you're looking to build a poison team, you must have one of these two legendary Skylanders in order to make it work?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you don't reroll, which I will highly recommend rerolling. If you don't reroll for a Boom Bloom or an Ambush, then yeah, definitely you could run Stink Bomb. And obviously, you're not going to have the main thing with Boom Bloom here is obviously to copies continuous damage here, reapplies the continuous damage. That's one thing that you won't have. But if you don't have Boom Bloom and you're already way too invested into the game, then yes, definitely you can use Stink Bomb and Roller Brawl. And even if you don't have both of those heroic units, whether you have Stink Bomb or just Roller Brawl, still good just to have one, and then you can run it with like some rare units such as Stealth Elf, really good unit, really tanky, applies poison. Obviously, you're gonna need the Flash Wing in order to
Right.
heal. There's no way around the Flash Wing,
Right.
right? And then in terms of like premiums, I'm not a big fan of premium units just because they're 2 stars, right? They're premium units, they're the
Yeah.
lowest tier rarity, low main stats, and they're just going to fall off really, really fast. So I wouldn't recommend building premium units. If you don't have if you don't have a Stink Bomb or Roller Brawl, I will highly just recommend building like another unit that maybe doesn't do poison, but maybe does like only diminish or maybe applies bombs. So
Okay.
that's my recommendation.
Okay. And so even though we don't like the premium units, maybe like a Rattleshake might not be the best to go. What about units like Stealth Elf, for example? Stealth Elf looks pretty good coming
Right.
into this game here. I was actually pretty impressed with the passive and everything that I saw. And I actually have
Yep.
her built up. Her damage is pretty good. And she does bring in that poison. So what do you think about her as a third spot in there, something like that for the poison?
Yeah, definitely triple S tier in terms of like poison team itself, Stealth Elf. If you're gonna build you get a Stealth Elf for free anyways.
Right.
So if you're going to focus on a poison team, 100% have Stealth Elf on your team. Obviously, that's if like you didn't get compensated thousands of gems and have like all these super boosted heroic and legendary units, right?
Hmm.
So if you're a free to play player, or even if you're not, Stealth Elf is definitely a triple S tier poison mechanic Skylander that you're going to want on your team. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So as far as the two leader skills go, for the main ones, the legendaries, we talked about the Boom Bloom, and of course, I'm sorry, the Ambush. As far as the heroic options, we got the Stink Bomb, the Roller Ball. We talked a little bit about, of course, Stealth Elf being one of the rare units that we can use. What about Tough Luck? I think we mentioned Rattleshake as well, but we didn't talk about Tough Luck. Tough Luck, another
Yeah.
one bringing in the poison. What do you think about her?
So Tough Luck is again going back to the fact that their main stats are just so low. Yes, it does apply a lot of poison, but I mean it's just that once you summon a heroic unit, or let's just say like you have like a 2 super boost tough luck, and you're like, oh, it's super boosted. But once you summon like a roller brawl that maybe that's not super boosted, or maybe you get that roller brawl to 1 super boosted versus like a tough luck that's like 3 super boosted, you'll ideally you just kind of want to jump on the heroic train and start building that roller brawl, because it's going to help you not only, maybe not so much right away, because tough luck again will then have the higher main stat, but in the long run, in terms of like resource investment, it's going to help you so much more in the long run. So you might as well just drop that premium and just start focusing on the heroic right away. Obviously, people are going to kind of fall into that super boost system, but in terms of premiums alone, I'm not a huge fan of it, just because of the long-term investment.
Sure, sure. And I think free-to-play players would appreciate that because, as you guys know, if you're coming into this game, especially non-compensated, you got a limited amount of resources that you can utilize.
Right.
So it's good to throw it out there, kind of give them a taste for that, and so they kind of know where to go from here. I think what I want to kind of start out with next here is kind of breaking these units down a little bit. A lot of the things that haven't really been talked about in the community is maybe looking at the not just the ether and the equipment, but more importantly, those stats. So like, let's say, for example, if you click on that stealth elf per se,
Right.
and take a look at the stats here. Obviously, we've all been playing these gotcha games. We know about this attack, HP, all that good stuff here. But the thing that we got to focus on that most people don't realize is, the accuracy, the effect accuracy and whatnot. So can you tell us a little bit about that and maybe provide us a little recommendation as far as a good amount of accuracy, one would, kind of consider if they want to have their abilities maybe be relatively reliable?
Right. Yeah, definitely. So I go by the rule of thumb. If it's a main DPS, I just chase the main property of main attack and HP. I don't really worry about defense. Obviously, I believe it was the helmet. You have to have a defense main property, so that's something that you just have to use. But in terms of the other stats, I just go with main attack and main HP, and then yes, they do apply poison. So yes, you do want effect accuracy. But the thing is, if you apply effect accuracy on your main damage dealers, they're not going to do as much damage, right? You're losing out on that main property attack. So ideally, if you can, just focus on main attack and main HP, main property, and then have effect accuracy within your substats.
Gotcha.
Now, in terms of like very specific numbers, what is the best effect accuracy to have in terms of land debuffs in C5 and C6? I'm not too familiar with that, but ideally I run my flash wing at 1 effect accuracy because I don't need her to do damage, right? I just need her to heal, and I just need her to land her defense buff. So I run 1 effect accuracy on my flash wing. Everybody else, main DPS, poison, bomb team, whatever you're using, main property attack and main property HP, and obviously crit rate and crit damage substats. And that should ideally get you to C4, to C5, and then eventually C6.
Gotcha. And just to kind of give a refresher there on that, for those of you guys that are equipping your stuff, again, if you got like a damage dealer, even though you may have all 3-star gear and have it like to maybe you're low on resources, go +3. If you have a little bit more to put into a specific slot, you're saying put that +6 into the attack slot so that you can get a little bit more value out of that damage dealer, correct?
Right.
Okay. And then effect accuracy, I just want to confirm as well. Effect accuracy is that stat that's going to assist you in landing those debuffs right away. So that's something good to look for in those substats when it comes to that gear, correct?
Yes, correct. And yeah, that's one thing that maybe some players or some newer players who haven't really touched Skylanders, effect accuracy and accuracy are 2 different things. So effect accuracy, again, which is basically what you said, is going to allow you to land debuffs more, and accuracy is going to allow you to hit the boss more. As I'm sure all of you guys have experienced evade, so if you have more accuracy, you won't evade as much.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it kind of the layout there as well. Accuracy versus evasion, effect accuracy versus effect versus those kind of go, back and forth with one another. So yeah, that's something kind of to pay attention as well, right?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, as far as the equipment goes, I think we kind of tackled that there. But one of the things that I didn't even think about, and I still don't even use a lot, has to be the enchantments. So
Yes.
you can kind of give like a brief overview on the enchantments, and then just kind of maybe tell us maybe what are your favorite ones to incorporate if you're going to build a poison team.
Right. So like enchants is kind of tricky at first. If like you don't really understand what each enchant does, but obviously you're gonna have to farm enchants through the library dungeon. Once you do that, you're gonna be presented with like all these enchant scrolls. And the main ones that I would focus on for a poison team is going to be Mana, Whirlwind, and Bond. So mana is going to be every time you kill an enemy, you're going to get replenished some mana. But so I wouldn't use mana on a support. Obviously, your support's not going to do a lot of damage. So my support right now is Flashwing. I'm sure a lot of you guys' support is Flashwing. I wouldn't use mana on Flashwing because Flashwing is not going to be the one killing the monsters, right? If you have a mana set, you might want to use mana on your main DPS, whether it's a Roller Brawler or Stink Bomb, or if you're using like a Stealth Bomb, mana will be a better enchant set for that for those DPSs. In terms of Whirlwind, it's going to reset the cooldown of the skill. Again, if you don't have a mana set and if you don't have a Whirlwind set or you don't have one of the other, you can just use whichever one that you have. But I wouldn't use a Whirlwind set on a Flashwing because you don't want the Whirlwind to proc heal like 2 times in a row, right?
Right.
AI is already bad. You don't want it to heal and then proc off the cooldown and then heal again, and then you just lose that potential damage. So ideally, you could run mana on your damage dealers. Then we have the last one, Bond here, which basically gives you additional core power. It's going to be the reason why you're going to be able to proc that the Portal Master's shield or evasion or whichever one that you're using. And if you use Bond ideally is going to be the best one because if you put Bond on every single Skylander, it's going to accumulate more of those, I believe it's like mana costs. You have to like use like 35 mana in order to proc that Portal Master. You're going to accumulate those resource or that mana in order to proc that shield more, allowing you to obviously proc him more in Cyclops, in which does a lot of damage. So that's going to be a huge one. So in
Yeah.
terms of which one would I use overall, ideally I will go from top to bottom. It'll be Bond, Whirlwind, and then mana. And then Whirlwind and mana can kind of go depending if you have a set or not. Just use on your damage dealers, and then Bond if you don't have.
Gotcha. And just to kind of side note, kind of take it a stem away off of the whole poison team, because I'm sure somebody's going to ask this one. Like when you think
Right.
about mana versus whirlwind, both of those have like obviously a lot of value here. Could you make an argument for like taking one that has the mana versus the other one, if maybe you're running the comp with like a lot of more higher mana cost skills, or would it be better to say, oh no, if you got higher mana cost skills, why don't you take the chance to um, have the reset of the cooldown time so you can keep those 4 turn to 5 mana cost skills or cooldown
Right.
skills a little bit low. What do you think?
Well, in theory, like how I approach mana whirlwind is that in order for mana to work in the first place, you have to defeat the enemy, right?
Right.
And so even if like you have it on like let's just say like you have like a tough luck. Yes, tough luck may apply poison, but it's not going to do most of the time. It might not be the one killing the enemy or the
Mhm.
trash waves. So in my opinion, mana will only be used on the main DPS, so such as like the ones who are outputting the most damage. So if you're running this poison team, you can either have it on Boom Bloom or Ambush or Stink Bomb or Roller Brawl or even Stealth Out, because it just doesn't make sense to have it on a Flash Wing. How many times is a Flash Wing going to kill a trash wave? Like not quite often, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of Whirlwind for reset cooldown, yes, exactly what you said. If they have high cooldown, or if you want your main DPS to proc more, or for instance, like a Boom Bloom, if Boom Bloom procs at copy continuous damage with a Whirlwind and able to do it again, you're going to reapply those continuous damage once again. So it's only going to help you a lot more. So the Whirlwind is going to again help with any DPS Skylander.
Gotcha. And even though we've kind of mentioned already in a multitude of videos between you, myself, and the rest of the community here, we've been focusing on the poison units for the way. But as far as the 3 poison units plus one, the plus one being the support, without question, Flashwing is going to be the one that fit the role here. Now,
Right.
for those of the people out there that maybe haven't pulled a Flashwing yet, do you say, hey, let's take a look at another unit that they can go ahead and incorporate, or should you just say, hey, just use what you got for now? If you got the jetpack, use the jetpack, and just wait to save your resources for that flashing when it comes around, because eventually it will come around, correct?
Right. So in terms of Flashwing, I do believe you get Flashwing for free anyways. So
Oh, okay.
before you get Flashwing, I guess I'm pretty sure I don't remember exactly when you get Flashwing, whether it's you complete a specific stage. I don't remember exactly, but I do know you get it for free. But if you don't have Flashwing, a great premium unit that you can possibly use if you want to is going to be Gorilla Trilla. Again, I'm not such a huge fan of these premiums.
Premium,
But
yeah.
if you don't want to use a premium, then just use a jetpack. Jetpack's going to apply the defense up and heal for your team, just long enough for you to get that flash wing. Once you get that flash wing, then you're going to replace the jetpack with that flash wing.
Gotcha. And then let me ask you this. Obviously, we got all these units that you kind of recommended here. Drop
Right.
that dream team real quick, like the number one team in your humble opinion that you would be like, oh my gosh, if you have this, GG, well played. Like you already won. You already beat the game.
Free to play or pay to win?
Pay to win, son. Give me the pay to win. We don't care about this. We want pay to win right now.
And then it'll definitely be Boom Bloom, Stink Bomb, Roller Brawl, and then Flash Wing. So
Okay.
that would be the best team that I would run in terms of a poison team. Stink Bomb and Roller Brawl applying poison and diminish in one skill. Boom Bloom applying the AoE poison with single target poison and copies continuous damage. Reapplying that all on the Cyclops or on your enemy, and it's just gonna be way too. You just can't cover that with any other comps. So
Right.
that would definitely be the dream team.
Gotcha. And the last thing that I want to kind of throw your way is if we can go back to maybe just looking at the units that you know in that part of the dream team per se. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was skill investment, because obviously, like I said before, the limit sources are going to be limited. So you know, I'm sure there's going to be certain skills that you would prioritize over the others. So when it comes to Boom Bloom, for example, you know, which ones would you recommend people investing those first skill ups into?
Yeah, so one at a time here, Boom Bloom. 100% you're going to want to scale up the first skill first. Legendary skill stones is going to be very scarce. You can't get legendary skill stones anywhere else besides Mirage Tower, obviously future events. I'm not sure if you get some through quests or not. I don't really remember. But Mirage Tower is going to be the key place to get your legendary stones. And obviously you can combine your rare to heroic to legendary, which again is going to be very costly. So you have to pick one skill. The first skill that personally I would choose and highly recommend is going to be the first one, which is going to lower the mana cost of the copy continuous damage, which that skill alone is going to be the reason why you're going to be able to complete these Cyclops stages as such a, I was not even say high tier, but like this team could have like very low, like medium equipment level and be able to clear up to like C5.
Mhm.
So definitely the first skill on Boom Bloom, which is going to be Whiplash.
Gotcha.
In terms of like Stink Bomb and Roller Brawl, the first skill on Stink Bomb, again, for the same reason, it's going to apply the poison and diminish. This is the reason why you want to use Stink Bomb in the first place, right? So you have to choose a skill on Stink Bomb. 100% is going to be skill 1. And after your skill 1 of that, if you have a Roller Brawl or if you're just using a Roller Brawl, the one you're going to have to skill up is going to be, I believe it is skill 1 too, that does AoE poison and AoE diminish.
Right.
So skill 1 on Stink Bomb, skill 1 on Roller Brawl, and then skill 1 on Boom Bloom as well. So that is definitely the skill up order that personally I would do and highly recommend.
Gotcha. And then I believe Stealth Health skill 1 is the one with the poison as well,
Yep.
which is really nice. And funny enough, I'll drop a video in the future, but don't underestimate the skill 2 on the Stealth as well, even though it's just a regular damage healing. And yes, it has a potential when it gets fully awakened. But one of the things that a lot of people don't consider is the fact that it has, when maxed out there, it has that 1 turn cooldown time. So you can literally use it every single turn, and it brings in the 2 endurance down. So if you're at a place where you really just, either need some more DPS or want to get that endurance down, maybe you got another unit that you pair alongside with this, like an igniter for a random team. It's a nice ability to have. You don't see a lot of units with a lot of super low cooldowns like that one.
Right, yeah. On top of that, like because it's an AoE skill, it's going to help you clear those waves so much faster. Like right now, I'm kind of struggling with wave clear it's taking me longer to wave clear because all my units are single target.
Sure.
So bringing these extra AoE damage Skylanders is going to help you clear just that much faster. So 100% you're correct.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and close off this video right there. Again, this is going to be the first of many videos that we got in this series talking about team buildings for specific comps that you guys can utilize in Skylanders Ring of Heroes. Once again, big shout out to Legendary Andy for coming on board to do this video. I'm going to leave all of his links in the description down below for YouTube and Twitch, so you guys can go ahead and check him out and show the support that you guys have been showing me. Mr. Andy, thank you so much for being a part of this series, boss.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Charlie. It was an honor to be on this Twitch and YouTube platform with you. So looking forward to many more videos, man.
All right. So I'll go ahead and close out the video once again, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish and Andy with ChildishPlays checking out. Take care, and we will see you all in the second episode for our team building series. We're out.